Alright guys, Stephen Trevathan, Arclight Interactive here. Today I'm going to show you a simple local SEO strategy. Ready? Let's get started.
Perfect.
First off, I'm going to list out 5 common issues that are probably affecting your local rankings. First, duplicate, missing, or inconsistent citations. Citations are important, and I'm going to have additional details below about citations, but if you've changed your business name, you slightly tweaked your phone number, or you change your business address, you need to make sure that your citations are consistent. If you had one that was old, that was built before, you didn't update it after making the transition, the new number, the new business location, that inconsistency can be or is affecting your rankings. Let's move on. Having no customer reviews. It's number 2. A lot of people are, they're always asking for them, but not many businesses have a clear strategy in place for encouraging customers to leave reviews for their business. And I'm going to go into more detail about that later in the video. Number 3, no high quality or relevant backlinks. Link building is important for SEO. If you've done any research about it before, you've probably seen this. Many local businesses don't have the budget to pay a really good SEO professional to actually build backlinks for their business. And if they don't have many citations, they probably don't have many backlinks to their website, and that's something that's impacting your ability to rank. Number 4, low quality or thin content. Again, similar to the backlinks, if you don't have the budget to hire a really good professional to work on your website, odds are you probably don't have the best content that's been created for your website. I often see with clients, when I first start working with them, a lot of their pages have 200, maybe 300 words. That's just not good enough, especially if you're in a competitive market. All right, and then finally, and this really is, if this is still impacting your website, as we move into 2019, it's really going to be an issue. But if your website is not mobile optimized, if it's not responsive, essentially if it doesn't look good and feel good to the user who's on there trying to check out your website on their phone, that's a big problem, and you need to address it as soon as possible. So, step 1, ensure your Google My Business listing is up to date. So as I mentioned before, inconsistent citations is a really big issue. And if you're trying to rank locally for your top keywords on Google, start by making sure that your Google My Business listing is up to date, is accurate, is completely filled out. This is that primary citation. This is an important one. So make sure that you have complete data on there. Go through and fill out as much information as you can. Make sure that your working hours are accurate. Verify the location if you haven't done this already. That would usually involve answering a call to the business number that you have listed, or you can actually have them send you a card. Snail mail, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but make sure, however you can, make sure that your listing is verified. So next, add photos. You don't have to go and spend a ton of money on a professional photographer. You have a really great camera in your pocket. So just take some shots, get some photos of your employees, get a nice photo of the front of your store, your location. People love to put a face to a brand, to a business. This can really help you stand out from your competition. So next, manage and respond to any reviews that you are getting. So if you aren't getting that many reviews, I would actually recommend responding. Maybe you can have one of your employees, if you have an intern, someone that's doing your social media, I would have them actually respond to any reviews. This is a really great thing. Especially if you get a bad review, make sure that you respond to it promptly. This can be a huge boost to your business, especially when people are going to see that review. You can't get rid of it. So the best thing you can do is respond to it and respond promptly. Own up if you guys made a mistake. It happens. We're human beings. This is really something that can make a big difference for you, and you just don't want to ignoring it. It's one of the worst things you can do. And you're going to drive yourself crazy if you try to message Google about getting it taken down. Take forever if they even respond to you about it. So best thing you can do is respond, own up to it, and people will really value that. So let's move on to step 2 in the local SEO strategy. All right, guys, step 2 in our simple local SEO strategy, asking for reviews. You probably already know this, but reviews have significant weight when it comes to how Google will rank websites for a specific keyword in the local area. So that local pack, say you are researching an orthodontist in your area, you're going to get that map result with, you'll see the top 3, top 4 for your area, and the amount of reviews that business has is really going to help them show up above their competition. So this is really an important factor when it comes to local SEO. And if you don't have a strategy in place, it's time to start. So I have 3 recommendations that are simple, and it's something that if you're not doing them, I highly encourage you to try it. I think it can actually really help your business. On your website, if you have a place where you're including testimonials from your best customers on your homepage, for instance, I would add a link to a review website, say with a call to action that, if you've worked with us and you had a good experience, we'd appreciate it if you left us a review on Google, on Facebook, Yelp. Next, I would include similar links to review websites in your email signature. So if you are the type of business where you're in contact with customers via email, or if you're networking for your business, I would recommend including the links to these review websites in your email signature. Finally, if you've had happy clients in the past that were really ecstatic about their experience with your business, but they never left you a review, I'd encourage you to reach out to them and say, hey, it would really mean a lot to us if you took 5 minutes and left us a review. And maybe there's maybe there's an extra incentive that you can provide that can kind of help encourage them to make that step. That's something I would want to delve into in a little bit more in a different video, but I would encourage you to reach out to customers or clients that really had a great experience and say, hey, if you're willing to share it, that would make a huge difference for us. All right, so let's move on to step 3 in our simple local SEO strategy. All right, guys, we're on to step 3, our simple local SEO strategy, and that is where to highlight your reviews and testimonials on your own website. So if you don't have any of your testimonials highlighted somewhere on your website, then you're really missing out. Why? Because studies actually show that about 80% of online users are making those final decisions based off of testimonials. It's that social proof. It really is that important. So if you don't have them on your website, you're not highlighting them on your website, I want you to make that change. So first off, if you have a slider on your homepage, include your testimonials in there. It's a great area for that little bit of that social proof shout out. People are going to see it, but this is a really great area on the homepage to add your testimonials. If you don't have a slider, then I would find a different area on the homepage to include the testimonials, but make sure that you have them highlighted on your homepage somewhere. Next, if you have a product services page, this is also a great spot for a testimonial section. People that are on this page are obviously interested in the services that you provide, and if you can entice them further with a really great testimonial about said service, then you're going to go a long way in really encouraging people to make that next step. And then next, if you have that contact page on your website, I would include it under there. So people are already thinking about contacting you, and if they're on the fence, that testimonial right there, well placed, can really be a deal maker. And then finally, I would just go ahead and actually create a testimonials page. So if you have a lot of different testimonials, this is a really cool option. You can actually just create a page, have that testimonials link in your top nav, and people will go check it out. I guarantee it. So let's move on to step 4, our simple local SEO strategy. All right, guys, now we're on to step 4, our simple local SEO strategy, and that is building local citations. I mentioned it earlier in the video how inconsistencies in citations are a major factor that are impacting a lot of businesses' ability to rank. If you change your business name in the past, or you change a phone number or location, those are much more likely. These are things that create inconsistencies in old citations, and it's an important factor when it comes to how Google ranks certain businesses. So what is a local citation, you might be wondering? And again, that is an online mention of your business that will include the name, the address, the phone number, and the website. Now, that link back to your website obviously is very important. But you want to make sure that all these things are accurate. And while I'm going to provide 7 websites here in this video, I would recommend that if you actually follow through, go and build further citations, because if you're in a competitive niche, the more that you can build, the better you're going to do. But for the sake of this video, these are the top local citation websites that I would recommend for you. So starting our list is the Google My Business listing. Obviously, if we're talking about ranking on Google, you want to make sure that you have this citation. Priority number 1. All right, next, Apple Maps. After that, we got Facebook, and then Yahoo, and then Better Business Bureau, Yelp, and then finally Yellow Pages. I'll have all the links in the post content below. So make sure that you go and get all your citations on these built, and make sure they're accurate and have them verified. This is probably one of the best things that you can do. Of all the things I'm talking about in this video, this is, if you're going to do at least one of them, make sure it's this. All right, guys, let's move on to the final step in our simple local SEO strategy. All right, guys, now we're on to the final step 5 in our simple local SEO strategy, and that is integrating social media. So if you're wondering why I'm talking about social media in the SEO video, it's because good social media is going to help improve your local SEO. It's really important. You're probably already dabbling in it a little bit, but I actually wanted to detail just a simple social media strategy that you can follow. If you're already killing it on social media, this might not really apply, but in my experience, a lot of local businesses, although they're on the primary platforms, don't have a real concrete strategy in place. And even something as simple like this can really help them start to achieve better results. So let's start with establishing goals that align with your business objectives. So what I mean here is, instead of just getting on social media because you think that you need to be on there and just posting content, with no real goals in mind, I would stop and I would think about, what you're trying to achieve by creating an audience on these platforms. Based on what your business is, you're gonna have a different type of approach You might have different platforms actually work better depending on your audience. And that actually brings me to step 2, which is you need to research your target audience. And I mean, you really need to learn and know and understand them. This is extremely important, especially when it comes to inbound marketing. And we are, at ArcLight Interactive, we are an inbound marketing agency. So this is something we take very seriously. And it's something that, unfortunately, not a lot of businesses actually have as good of an understanding as they think they do about their core target audience. So, before you spend too much time on social media, I would research your target audience, because it's going to provide insights into what the best platform is for your business. Social media is difficult. You might find that focusing on one platform is the way to go, and it might not be the one that you're thinking about. So that's step 2. So step 3, spend time researching your competition. If you're in a city that you have a lot of competitors, and you have a competitor that is really doing well, I wouldn't just look at their reach, their numbers, their likes, their follows. Really spend time looking at the type of content that they're sharing. Spend time researching their latest posts. Really dig deep, and see what you can extrapolate from that. Again, you might get some really interesting insights, and hopefully you're going to see what's working for them, what isn't. Take that as an opportunity to essentially learn from the work they've already put into it, and see if you can identify some ways that you can separate yourself from them, while also, leveraging that, what has worked for them will probably work for you in terms of the type of content they're using, but see what you can do to differentiate. And then step 4, I would make sure that you have accounts set up with all the primary platforms. So even though before I was saying you might learn that you want to invest in one in particular, or you might not actually see success on one that you thought, say Facebook might not be the best platform for your particular business depending on what vertical you're in. But even that aside, I do recommend that you go and establish a brand account on all major platforms, because you're going to get a link back to your website, and that is good for your SEO. So even if you never do anything with that account, go ahead and create that branded account for your business, get the link back. That's going to help. So step 5, create a simple content calendar. This is difficult, and this is one of those things that a lot of people just, they put off, they don't really want to do, but it really, if you can even just set up a simple spreadsheet and have an idea of, perhaps just depending on the day of the week, the type of content that you're going to share on that day, it's going to help you stay consistent. It's going to help you be more efficient, and it's actually going to help with your online branding, because as you build an audience, people are going to actually learn to, they're going to know what to expect, and that's going to really help, your efforts and your success. Social media is about building a community. It's about establishing your brand and connecting with your target audience, and establishing a content calendar is really going to help in your ability to do that. And so finally, step 6, test, evaluate, and adjust as needed. There is no single strategy that works for everybody. This is a very simple one. This is just meant to help you get started, and point you in a direction that I think is going to allow you to see success. But it's a tough road. Social media is constantly changing. There are new platforms showing up all the time, and that means that you kind of just have to get your feet wet, test, see what, as you build an audience, see what they respond to, and see how you can engage them. So, as you learn more about your audience, your strategy is going to develop, is going to potentially change. It's going to evolve, but that's important, and that's how you're going to find the success that you really are looking for. And that's it, guys. That is the simple local SEO strategy. 5 steps that you can follow and that you can employ in your free time without having to be a digital marketing expert. So I wish you all the best of luck, and can't wait for our next video. Stay tuned.